Welcome back to my grammar classes. Friends, we have already studied what grammar is. What is grammar? Sentence producing mechanism. And today we can study what a sentence is. In the words of traditional grammarians like Wren and Martin, a sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense. They also said a sentence must have a verb in it. Now look at these sentences. Delhi is the capital of India. Or people speak English all over the world. They are correct English sentences. But if somebody says, I was born 300 years ago, can you consider it a correct English sentence? Of course, you don't find any grammatical error. You don't find any syntactical error. But semantically, it is only a nonsensical statement because it is not acceptable to us. So a sentence must be meaningful. It must be acceptable to the listeners. Now look at the sentence. The book is on the table. Here, on the table is a group of words. It makes some sense, not complete sense. A group of words that makes some sense is called a phrase. The cow is in the garden. In the garden is a phrase. The book is on the table. On the table is a phrase. Now, what is the distinction between a sentence and a phrase? A sentence has a verb. A phrase does not have a verb. In other words, a group of meaningful words with a verb in it is a sentence. A group of meaningful words without a verb is a phrase. You know, a sentence has two parts, namely subject and predicate. The naming part of a sentence is called the subject and the saying part is called the predicate. Or the subject refers to a person, place or thing, and the predicate is what is said about the subject. In the sentence, birds fly, birds is the subject, fly is the predicate. The boys in the class study well. What is the subject in this sentence? Very often the students would say the boys. That is a wrong answer. What is the subject here? The boys in the class. The cow in the garden is mine. What is the subject of this sentence? Not the cow, but the cow in the garden. So how can you find out the subject of a sentence? First see which the verb is. Normally, all the words that come before the verb will be the subject, and all the words that come after the subject will be the predicate. Now, the children in England or America would study it in a different way. If you ask them, what are the two parts of a sentence? They would say NP plus VP or NP and VP. What is NP? NP is the short form of noun phrase. You have to write capital N, capital P. NP is the short form of noun phrase. VP is the short form of verb phrase. These are the two parts of a sentence according to modern grammarians. That is what the children in England or America study. And now we also started studying it like that. The subject of a sentence is quite often expressed, but sometimes it will be only implied. For example, if I say, get out of the class, get out of the class. Here, the subject is actually you. What I mean is, you get out of the class. Shut up. The subject is, you shut up. So here, the subject is only implied, not expressed. Thank you. When I say thank you, there is a subject there, which is a subject, I thank you. Thank you means I thank you. So the subject of a sentence is often expressed but can be sometimes implied. Now let me say something about the different kinds of sentences in English. There are several kinds of sentences in English. According to one kind of classification, there are 4 types, namely assertive, exclamatory, interrogative, and imperative. What is an assertive sentence? A sentence that is in the form of a statement is called an assertive sentence. It states facts, describes things, or reports events. For example, honesty is the best policy. States facts. Prevention is cure. States facts. Gold is a heavy metal. Describes things. The accident took place in the heart of the city. Reports events. So, an assertive sentence states facts, describes things, and reports events. Or, to put it in simple words, a sentence that is in the form of a statement is called an assertive sentence. Second one is an exclamatory sentence. What is an exclamatory sentence? A sentence that expresses the sudden feeling in mind is called an exclamatory sentence. A sentence that expresses the sudden feeling in mind. But before that, how does an assertive sentence begin? It always begins with the subject. It is in the form of a statement, and at the end there must be a full stop. The 3 conditions to be fulfilled if you want to say it is an assertive sentence. Similarly, an exclamatory sentence begins with what or how. It expresses the sudden feeling in mind. At the end, there will be an exclamation mark. Suppose it's very hot in a place. You go to Ooty or Kodaikanal. Soon after reaching there, you may say, Oh, how cold it is here! How cold it is here! That is an exclamatory sentence. It expresses the sudden feeling in your mind. Or if you go to Mumbai and find and see the very huge buildings, you may say, what a huge building it is. Again, what a splendid sight. Oh, what a cruel man. All these are exclamatory sentences. I repeat, you have to remember three things about an exclamatory sentence. It begins with what or how. It expresses the sudden feelings in mind, and at the end there will be an exclamation mark. So we have studied the first two types of sentences, namely assertive sentence and exclamatory sentence. Now let me stop it here for the time being, because I want to come back to the error analysis part. Today I would like to say something about the two common words, several and many. Now look at these sentences. There are several teachers in the department. There are many students in this college. You got an idea. You use the word several when you refer to a limited number. There will be only a limited number of teachers in a department. That is why I said there are several teachers in this department. But in a college there can be many students. There are many students in this college. Or you can say there are several doctors in this hospital. But you say there are many patients in this hospital. When you refer to a limited number, it is better to use several, and when you refer to a large number, you can use many. Again, one more thing I would like to say today. Sometimes you may not have a watch with you. You don't have a mobile with you. You want to know the exact time. How would you ask somebody this question about the time of the day? What is time? Or what is time? Or what is the time? Which one is correct? What's the time now? That is how you have to ask that question. What's the time now? If you ask what is time, the listener is supposed to explain the term time. When somebody asks you what is velocity, what is mass, you will try to define those terms. So what is time? You may define the word time. So don't ask what is time now, but ask what's the time now. You can also ask what time is it today? What time is it by your watch? What time is it by your watch, not in your watch? So, which are the correct expressions? What's time? Wrong. What's the time? The definite article da must be there. That is correct. What time is it now? What time is it by your watch? Again, correct. Okay, friends, we can stop today and continue in the next class. Thank you.